Hey guys, Kev here, and I'm gonna do a quick kind of wrap up video here slash review on two knives that I was loaned by my buddy Sruli that I met on Knife Swap, the Reddit Knife Swap. I've talked about plenty of times in my videos. It's a great place to buy, sell, trade, and just communicate with people in the knife community. Most people on there are super nice. People kind of make sure pricing doesn't get out of hand because, secondary pricing can be, really tough sometimes. A lot of people are out there buying sprints and stuff just to sell them for an extra $50 or $100. That stuff is kind of limited a bit on Knife Swap. You usually get good pricing or just a little bit over, and you get an explanation. Maybe somebody paid extra shipping or whatever, and they want to recoup that. So, it's fair that they want to raise the price a little bit, and somebody wants to pay it. Great. Anyway, that's my that's my intro rant there about Knife Swap. I love it. Anyway, so Sruli sent me two of his knives, the Northern Arms Skaha 2. I'm actually not sure if it's Northern Arm Skaha 2 or Northern Arms, because I always hear it said plural, but right here on the knife, you'll see it just says Northern Arm. So I'm not sure. He also sent me the Microtech Socom Elite. This is a signature series that is blacked out, other than the hardware, it looks like. So I've had these for a couple weeks now, and I want to go ahead and get them back to him. I really appreciate Sruli for sending these to me. He's a great dude, and my first impressions on the Socom Elite weren't that great. And of course, he didn't care. He wanted my opinion, and he loves this knife regardless. So it's not like I'm hurting anybody's feelings. And I really want to bring my honest opinion and perspective to the knives that I check out. I don't want to, whether positive or negative, and I'm gonna find the good in things, but I don't want to sit here and just say how great everything is when I don't believe it, or it's just not true, So I apologize to anybody who sees that as me being a negative Nancy or whatever. But when I'm shopping for a knife and I'm looking at YouTube reviews, I want your honest opinion. I don't want people telling me, oh, this is great and that's great and this is great, and then I get it in hand. I'm like, why did somebody tell me this was great? It clearly has the worst action ever. That kind of thing. So that's where I'm coming from, guys. I hope you can respect that. And if you don't, feel free to, go to another channel. But I really appreciate the people who've been watching and commenting and liking and subscribing. I usually don't pitch that kind of thing. Hit the notification bell. I don't kind of do that stuff. I don't want to be sitting here self-advertising. If you like my content, you're going to do what you're going to do, and you watch enough YouTube that you know what to do to support somebody. So anyway, moving on to the knives. So I want to get these back to Sruli, and I just figured I'd kind of do a joint review like I did with the first impressions, because I don't have much more to say about each one, and I don't want to just have these long rant videos, which is basically what this has turned into. So here we go. The Northern Arms Skaha 2 in an absolutely gorgeous carbon fiber handle scales here. I don't know how well that comes through, but it is really, really nice carbon fiber. This is a liner lock or inset lock design. The liners are hidden in there, so they are nested. The show side actually does not have a liner, so this is just carbon fiber over here. Then you have the stainless steel liner nested inside of the clip side scale. It is an S35 VN blade. It has this strange kind of milled pattern in it. I'm hoping that comes through. I've talked about this before. trying not to repeat myself too much, but it's going to happen. I'm not a big fan of that, and Northern Arms on their website has stated they stopped doing that. So I think the newer models out there, they do not have that that milled pattern in there. It has a pretty sharp point here. It comes to a relatively decent tip. It's not the most robust, but it's also not really dainty either. Gets the job done. It's a really cool drop point blade. It is sharp. It cuts paper well. I mean, I think it could probably use a stropping or something, but I didn't really use it much. I just cut some paper to test sharpness and kind of feel how thick it was behind the edge, which it's pretty thin behind the edge. I didn't notice these milling lines causing any issues during cutting, but I didn't go ahead and cut like a bunch of cardboard or anything, so that could come up in that case. But because of the blade shape and the flat grind here, I don't think that would be an issue in any way. It is made in British Columbia. There's your steel tag right there. It is a flipper, which has some amazing action, and I will get to that. The handles are very nicely contoured all around. You just have very good contouring or chamfering going on here. There's no sharp edges anywhere on this knife except for the part that's supposed to be sharp. And then you have a little bit of jimping here, which is light jimping. So it's good enough to get a little traction, but not going to hurt your finger or anything. There's a little jimping on the flipper tab there, which is very intuitive. You have a loop over wire clip that is not deep carry. You can see there's plenty of knife sticking up. I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm kind of in the camp with Jake from Bearded Gear. You know, I really prefer to have a deep carry clip go all the way to the butt of the knife. If you're not going to do deep carry, then just, you know, give me a milled titanium clip. It would look a lot better, in my opinion, and it would give you the same function. But if you want to use the loop over clip, move it up to here. And I really don't understand why some companies don't do that. I don't know if it's something structurally on the design, or maybe it is a design element that they think it looks better down here than up here, or they just don't care. They don't mind a carry like that, and that's fine too. It's, you know, their decision. I will say that it does carry very well. Retention's good. There's really no issue with the clip at all. You just have a little bit sticking up. So if you don't care about that, no worries. So that's pretty much the knife all around. There is a lanyard hole here for the guys out there who enjoy lanyards. I am not one of them. I want to talk about availability. So they have these on their website. Sorry, they don't have them on their website. They have a website, and you can sign up for a waiting list. I did go ahead and sign up for the waiting list, which I don't know how long it is. I'm sure it's a few months from now, maybe 5 or 6 months. I'm not sure. It didn't really give me an estimated time, but that tells you something. I really enjoyed having this knife around, so I would like to pick one up if I could. And in terms of action, so first we are perfectly centered here, and the action is just very crisp. The flipper tab is dialed in. There's a slight bit of take up. So I mentioned in my unboxing, there was a little bit of take up or detent lash. You can feel the flip. You can feel the blade kind of move a little bit before it flies out. Then it was gone in my first impressions, and now it's back. So I don't know what that's about. Conditions, maybe. I don't know. The temperature, I have no idea why it changed, but it did. So anyway, it's not very bad. It's just something I notice now. But it is so crisp when you go ahead and break that detent. It just flies out. I'm not sure I could fail it. Oh, there you go. I kind of failed it. I have to do the pinch to fail it, which I don't even count that. So light switch, good. Push button, good. I mean, it's just fantastic. And the closing action is so satisfying. I'm one of those people that really wants a nice closing action. Once you pass that detent, it just guillotines shut. You kind of have to lean it a little or shake it, and then it drops. So it's not like one where you have to shake it all the way home. You just have to get it to start the descent. So I could play with this thing all day, and it would never get boring. It would never get tiring. It would never start to hurt. That's important. Nothing on this knife makes my fingers hurt or my wrists hurt or anything. It's just so much fun to play with. Left-handed, it works fantastically. You can see here. Right-handed, obviously, it is also fantastic. And if you do order one from them, if you get on the waiting list and do all of that, you can get one with an ambi clip slot. So they will put a clip slot on the right and the left, and you'd be good to go. So I can 100% recommend this knife to a lefty, and I can definitely recommend it to a righty. So that is the Northern Arms Skaha 2. Next up, we have the Microtech Socom Elite Signature Series with the blacked out blade. This is an LMAX steel. This is an interesting knife. I really wanted to check one out because I've always been intrigued by the tip down carry, and I figured that kind of makes it left-handed because it goes in your left pocket, and this blade would be against the seam of your pants, so it can't open up. And this knife tested that theory for me, and that theory is kaput. It just doesn't work because you still have to pull the knife out, turn it around, and then you can operate it. And for somebody who likes to fidget with their knives, it just isn't fun. Also, the thumb studs, because they're proud of the scales a bit, they would catch on my jeans in certain places, and I don't know if that's... I didn't have that problem as much when I carried it like a righty would in my right pocket, so I don't know if that's just the orientation or the angle the clip's at or something, but that was kind of an issue there. Ergonomically, I just don't understand this knife. If I hold it back here, yeah, it's comfortable like this, and I can put my thumb right here on this ramp, but because it's tapered down like this, it just seems it's uncomfortable in my hand, and it seems kind of, it just doesn't seem to make, counterintuitive is what it seems like, because this is a tactical knife in all things. This is a tactical knife. I mean, you have a glass breaker, you have this aggressive looking drop point here. It's all blacked out. I mean, it's definitely a tactical knife. I think we can agree on that. That's what Microtech was going for. It's called the Socom Elite. So for a tactical knife with this tapering, you could just pull it out of my hand pretty easily. I mean, yeah, I can death grip it and it would be hard, but it just doesn't seem to make sense. Why not have something that locks it in? So that's something that's a little strange to me. I guess back to just the aesthetic of the knife, I really do like the look of this knife. It is that aggressive tactical look, and I do enjoy that, but I think I enjoyed it more when I was looking at it in pictures and video. Having it in person, in hand, it's really just not my style of knife. So that's one thing that definitely is going to give me a kind of bias towards it. I just don't like the look of it anymore. The thumb stud action is phenomenal. It really flies out of there, and it makes this really nice lockup sound. That is definitely unique. This knife makes some cool sounds on the open and the close. Here you go. You hear it crack out, and then the close. It's very satisfying. For a righty, easy to operate. drops under your fingernail, close. For a lefty, I've gotten used to it. You just push the lock bar over, pull down with your finger here, get out of the way, and let it drop. But you do have that risk factor where the knife could go too far and then cut right into your thumb here. So that's no fun. That's why I prefer a flipper tab if it's going to be a righty only type knife. But there's exceptions to all rules. But yeah, so that's good. I don't really understand what this is right here because you can't move the clip, and that's not a clip location. So I don't know what that is. There's just like these two screws. I guess they're holding in. Looks like they're maybe holding in the liner. You're probably not going to be able to see that. But there's like this hump and these two screws. I don't really get why that's there. I've mentioned before when I was chatting with my buddies, Jake, Bearded Gear, and Kyle, DTOM Knives and Gear, I brought this knife up and how I just kind of wasn't loving it. And Jake said he thought it was an outdated design. And that really resonated with me because that's exactly what I think this knife is. It's an outdated design. This is a 2000 model. I mean, I think they go back into the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. So this design has been around, and I just think it's been surpassed by the way knives are made these days. Design languages and function and all of those things have been upgraded and perfected more and more. And this knife just kind of stands still. And that's kind of the best way to put it for me, and why I don't prefer this knife. I don't want to say I don't like it. It's a cool knife. I definitely appreciated getting it in hand. I can definitely see usage for it. But for me, it's just not my style. So I'm glad I got one in to kind of figure that out and learn that it's not something I want to end up having in my collection, because these do go for $280, $300 sometimes. So depending on the variation and the model, they can get expensive. But it is cool. They come in a lot of different colors, purple, red, black. They come, I think there's a white one. So very cool. It comes in different steels. This is L-Max. It comes in M390, 204P, the usual suspects for Microtech. So yeah, that is the Microtech Socom Elite. I also want to mention the lock bar here. It is also a liner lock. It's kind of mushy. When you push it out of the way, I don't know how to best show you, but when you push it out of the way, oh, it kind of just like mushes in and like you can feel it bending all around. It's just not very, doesn't feel sturdy and stiff. Just feels kind of mushy. The drop action is very good on this. So definitely a cool knife. Definitely, if you're into the tactical knives, something to check out. I would totally recommend it for a righty if this is a design that you're into. As a lefty, I don't think I can recommend it. I'm sure there's plenty of lefties that love this knife, but just the way it carries and functions left-handed, I think my money and your money might be better spent elsewhere. Excuse me. So that is the Microtech Socom Elite and the Northern Arms Skaha 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I'd love to hear your thoughts on both of these. And I got plenty more coming. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll catch you guys later.